Hey everybody, this is David, and this is going to be my review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new one, produced by Michael Bay. First, let's start off with what I thought of the Turtles in Splinter. First of all, I think the Turtles in Splinter are actually the best things about this movie. Definitely when they're on screen, that's when the movie is really entertaining. I I actually didn't mind the way they looked. It took a while getting used to them because they tried making them a little bit more realistic on how I guess turtles and rats actually look, even though I don't think they actually look that ugly. But it worked for the style of the film I guess that they were going for, and after a while I got used to them and I actually didn't mind their looks afterwards. The voices were all pretty good too. I didn't mind the voices, the voice work. I know a lot of the people doing the motion capture suits were doing the voices as well, except for Splinter and Leonardo. I know Leonardo was voiced by Johnny Knoxville of Jackass fame, and he did a good job because I didn't think once that it was Johnny Knoxville, and he actually blended in with the rest of the cast, and I guess it was a good choice. So yeah, all the voice actors, if they were voicing or doing the motion capture, they all did a good job on that part. The turtles' origin was a little bit different from in this movie, and I think it's going to upset a lot of turtle fans. But for me personally, I didn't mind the change. I thought it was pretty good, and but I know someone like my brother who's a huge fan of the turtles as well. He was kind of upset a little bit about that. He didn't think it was necessary. He didn't even think they should have just made April a lab scientist like she was in the comics instead of making her a news reporter, which just seemed to be there more out of nostalgia. For me personally, I thought it was okay. I didn't mind it, and I like the nostalgia vibe. Um, but yeah, I can see his point why he would be arguing with that little bit because it did seem kind of unnecessary because she loses her. I don't want to spoil too much, but I am going to spoil a little bit. She does lose her job in the beginning of the film. Which brings me now to Megan Fox as April. What did I think of her? I'm going to admit this. I wasn't a huge supporter of Megan Fox as April. I actually thought, she was going to be terrible in this. But, I take back what I said. She was pretty good in this movie. I actually enjoyed her quite a lot. And even towards the end of the film, she was actually pretty useful. Which is weird because if you remember the Transformers films, she was always the girl, the damsel in distress, yelling for Sam. She was only there just to make out with Sam and make him horny, I guess. This one, she's actually useful and she's actually doing things, which is what April should do. Then we have Will Arnett, who's playing Vernon, a character from the cartoons, from the 80s cartoon, 80s and 90s cartoon, whatever. And he has some funny moments and funny lines in this movie. Even though he's constantly hitting on April the entire film. Him and Michelangelo are like... Michelangelo, by the way, steals the show. To me, out of all the turtles, he's definitely the one that has all the jokes. Even though him and Vernon, or him and Will Arnett, whatever you want to call them, they're both like hitting on April, but clearly Michelangelo's better at it than him. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of nostalgia in this film to the late 80s, 90s cartoon, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think they play around with it pretty fun. And it doesn't stay 100% true to that cartoon. There's some stuff. I'd say there's more stuff from the cartoon series than there actually is towards the earlier films and the comics. But I guess there's a mix of everything in this movie. But you definitely get more of the vibe from the cartoon series than anything else. Shredder and Karai were in the movie. I felt they were very underdeveloped, and I have a feeling we'll be seeing them again. But yeah, on a first time basis, since this is the first movie with them, there's not really much backstory to them. And Karai especially is like hardly, they don't even reference the fact that they're both related. They just like have them in there just for the sake of being in there. And Shredder, even though he is the main villain, he doesn't feel like the main villain. He feels like just someone, a big threat that's there just for the sake of being a threat. William Fincher is also in the movie, and he's playing a villain too. And this is the guy who, everybody thought he was going to be an Americanized Shredder. And he was even saying in interviews that he's like a Western Shredder. And, but when you watch the movie, he actually doesn't turn out to be that at all. And to me, I thought it was wasteful potential at not making him Baxter Stockman, who apparently has a reference in this film, but I didn't catch it anywhere. Apparently, they do make a reference to Baxter Stockman from the cartoon and the comics, but I didn't see that reference anywhere, so I might have missed it the first time around. And I was trying to look for it, but I couldn't catch it. But yeah, I thought, that was a missed opportunity there. They could have easily just made him Baxter Stockman, but for whatever reason, they named him a character named Eric Sachs, which I'm guessing is supposed to be a play on words of Aruku Saki. I don't know. But, yeah, there was, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say on that. In the beginning, Splinter was kind of a douchebag. When we first are revealed to Splinter, he's pretty tough on his turtles, and I guess, I don't remember him being that harsh on the turtles in the old movie. I mean, he's like even torturing them by like tempting them to say what they were doing, because he's trying to find out where they were all night, and by torturing them, not in a very bad way, but in a playful, funny way, I guess. But he did seem like a douche while doing it, so I don't know. Splinter is more of an asshole in this film. The beginning of the film starts off, I'll admit, a little bit boring. Nothing really happens until the turtles finally show up, which is like 30 minutes in. It's not like, I mean, you can stand it until it happens, but like, you just want to see the turtles. You don't care about the humans, and that's, I think, the problem with this movie is that it's really following April and what she's doing and experiencing the film through her eyes. And it's again something that annoys me about the Transformers films. It's always viewing the story through a human's eyes. And at least April is a little bit more tolerable than the humans in Transformers. So it was all right. It's just the movie does get better once the turtles are on screen. I think that's what everybody's obviously wanting to see. One moment that really annoyed me in this movie, though, it didn't annoy me as much until my brother pointed it out. I had to laugh about it. But these are probably things that people will notice that are kind of stupid throughout the film, like bad writing. When April has proof about the turtles, when she's telling her boss, played by Whoopi Goldberg, about her that she saw these 4 turtles, and that they're not aliens, etc., etc., the boss doesn't believe her, so April gets fired. And then she later goes to William Fincher's character, who's the villain, and she tells him, "Hey, look, I saw these turtles. They were big. They were, ninjas, whatever." And he doesn't believe her at first, not too much right away either, until she shows her the picture. And then my brother pointed out to me, "Well, why didn't she just show her boss the picture earlier, and then she wouldn't have been fired?" That's just some of the stupidity that's in this movie. To me, though, it didn't bug me as much as it did my brother, but I know if he was bugged about it, there's gonna be other people out there bugged about it too. So just expect like little dumb moments like that. Final thoughts. I actually enjoy this movie quite a bit. It's mindless fun. The action is fun. The film doesn't take itself seriously at all, so I don't think you should either. But if you're just looking for a good time, me personally, I found it more enjoyable than the Transformers films. So, or the last one, anyways. The last Transformers film. When a movie makes you tired of action, something's wrong. But this movie, I think, does a good job with everything. The humor, the action, the special effects. The score is pretty good too. I enjoy the score. I don't like the music during the credits, but aside from that, the horrible rap song. Ugh. But, aside from all that, I think this is an enjoyable film. Kids will love it for sure. And really, guys, this is a Ninja Turtles movie. And so I don't know what you're expecting with a movie about mutant turtles and a giant rat. Just have fun with it, and I think you'll enjoy it. I gave this movie a 7 out of 10. So, yeah, guys, go out. This is what you should do. Go out, get a pizza, then go see the movie. Maybe you'll enjoy it. I don't know. Have fun, guys.